All right, we're live. Okay. Hi, everybody. It's me, Sunela Jai Surya, CEO Women Empower Global, with the one and only Yolanda.
Hello, everyone. We're so excited to be with you all. And Sunela, it's so great to see you. It's always great to catch up.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. So today, Yolanda, this would be our third time I think we've done the Leaders Connect, where, two strong minds, huge visionaries connecting from across the world, making global impact. And here we are holding hands for a sister leader connect. So it's all, yes, it's all a sisterly vibe right now. It's all about that sisterhood and inspiring whomever we can as we go along.
Absolutely. Yes. So how's it been for you?
Oh, it's been really good. It's been exciting. It's been a learning curve, as it has been for so many people around the world.
Yes.
I'm curious and I'm excited and I'm ready for the next horizon. That's how I feel right now, because we went through this massive vacuum last year, and then the curtain opened on the 1st of January. And it's positive vibes on this. And how has it been for you, Yolanda?
It's been great. And I say that because anytime we are faced with challenges or difficulties and we're still breathing and alive, that means we have a solution to whatever is happening, that we're still alive. So if we're alive during this time, that means that we have solutions to issues and problems that may be facing us and facing others. Yeah.
I love what you just said. And that just inspired a thought when you said, if we're alive and breathing, that means we have a solution. I love that. And I'm thinking, I can't help think, the minute we hit some impact, whether negative or positive, there is growth. Again, another level impact, more growth. So it's impact, growth, impact, growth. So I love that. I love that. Absolutely. So we also want to just encourage all of you, who are watching right now. Nothing is perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's about being perfectly imperfect and loving yourself in the process and learning from the journey. That's important.
Absolutely. And I think when we face challenges, one of the things we have to do is look around us and see where our support systems are. A lot of times we try to do those things on our own, but I really believe, I know people use this slogan all the time. You see it hashtag on social media, but it is so true. We are better together. We are better together. If you're facing challenges, look around you. Say, who is that support person for me that may have experienced that already and can give me some advice and some tips so I can push through it? Because as you said, Sanel, it is a growth part of who you are. If you're facing challenges, it's trying to stretch you to go deeper, to go wider. And when you do deeper and wider, you're able to reach many more people and take them deeper and wider.
Absolutely. And I'm also thinking, looking, in the recent past, what I've noticed, how much more reliant that had to be on others, on the support system to get my thing done. Because here we are in a situation where everything was different. We had to innovate business. We had to innovate how we approach things, our mindset, and in that, things that were routinely self-reliant, routinely predictable, that were on top of it, leaders, as moms, as in whatever capacity, suddenly everything was, oh my goodness, I can't do this alone, because here I am in a new environment, in a new unprecedented situation. I didn't expect this.
Mm-hmm.
And if I need to rapidly adjust, because everything was in a rapid pace, if I'm to meet that rapid pace, I need rapid support. So
Yes.
that is where I realized, gosh, you know what? This makes me more vulnerable. Uh, but there is beauty and opportunity in learning to rely, learning to embrace that support system, because we cannot do it alone. We cannot do it alone.
And I think as women, we really think we can because we hear the slogans, you're strong, you're powerful. And even though we are all of those things, we're one person. And multiple hands and multiple minds makes that idea even better. And so being able to be vulnerable and say, I need support and I need help in order to move it. And I think this, in this time, what it's allowed us to do, even as business owners, is we may have been at a place where we needed to pivot or let go of some things or do some things differently, but we were holding on to the old instead of embracing the new. And this environment has made us have to pivot. It's made us have to change things that we hadn't been doing inside of our businesses. These times has allowed us to even stretch even more and do even more. And I think it brought us out of that place of being so comfortable with our successes of the past and not looking at what was really in front of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Yolanda, there's this big question mark that comes into my mind, which I want to share with everyone watching. As we launch into 2021, now we're already in February, the question becomes, what am I here? Because this is the time to pivot. So ask yourself, be more intentional about choices this year.
Yes.
Be more specific about objectives this year.
Yes.
And ask yourself the question, what am I carrying along with me in my journey and life that no longer serves me? It could be
Yes.
the something, or it could be the someone, whatever it is.
Yes. Absolutely. And be honest with ourselves. Sometimes we've used the something or the someone as a crutch to not move out of our comfort zone. And nothing grows, we know nothing grows in your comfort zone. Nothing stretches you being in your comfort zone. So it could be that you're leaning into that something or that someone, and it's really time for you to move forward. So you're so right. You're so right. We have to really look and see what those things are and be honest about it. Yes.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely. Yolanda, that brings me to a question I have that I wanted to
Yes.
just check in with you, check in with my girl.
Yes.
So, you know, with these unprecedented times happening around the world, we've become so much more, there's so much more connectedness, but I also see the challenge of true connection, because connectedness, like the mobile device, is one thing, but to truly humanize that experience and be connected and have a connection is something else. So a couple
Yes.
of challenges I've been feeling, and I sort of put a few feelers around the world, and I kind of picked up some things, and I feel like, as a big global community, there are some patterns going around, and then in a unique capacity, some challenges we experience. So coming into challenges, Yolanda, I could think, before I share mine, how has this season been for you? What has it been like for you? What challenges have you been facing?
So for me, Sanella, is just like you said, we sometimes we feel like we're connected because we have our devices and we're on social media and people are liking what we're doing, and we're getting the likes and the followers. But for me, it's not about the likes and the followers. It's about who am I genuinely connecting with? Because if you look at it realistically, if you have 1 million followers, how many of those people really can you genuinely connect with? So for me, it's been the struggle with really honing in on what is my focus for me personally and for my business, and what are those connections that I want to build upon. And it could be just 10 that I want to genuinely build with or collaborate with to do something bigger than myself. And I think we get so caught up in, chasing the social media likes and followers that we forget about the genuine connections that'll be here 10 years down the road. And so that's been my struggle to kind of hone in and say, who are those people that I generally want to connect with to make a global impact? And of course, you're one of my girls that I'm like, yes, we were divinely connected several years ago. And God has really just continued to bring us together on different initiatives to empower people globally. And those are the kinds of things that I am focused on in this season.
Oh, I love it. Yolanda, tell them where we met. Tell them where we met, Yolanda. They're not going to believe this.
Yes. We met in Washington, D.C., in the United States of America. Only God could divinely connect people that way. We ended up speaking on a panel together. And as soon as I heard you speak, I started looking over. I was like, okay, there was many women on that panel. I didn't connect with all of those women. And a lot of times you don't. They were great. They're doing amazing work. But there's something about knowing who you're supposed to divinely connect with for impact. Not about me. I wouldn't even look at my business and saying, okay, how can I connect and my business no, it's about, I think she's someone that can help with the impact globally for women around the world, for men around the world. And so that's, every time I think about how we met, I'm just so amazed and thankful. Yes.
So amazing. And I loved how we were vibing from get-go, because when I heard you speak, I was like, man, I want to know her. She's so inspiring, this lady. And I love it. The journey has been phenomenal. And, just seeing our growth together in our sisterhood, in this strong global partnership, that was a process. And that's also a powerful case study that could serve someone.
Absolutely. Yes. I think one of the things we have to remember is that when we come to the table or we connect with people, we should come giving. We should come to give something, leave something at the table. And a lot of times as business owner, it's just in our nature that we're looking like, how can I get this? But if we come to the table giving, you're automatically going to get. It automatically flows back to you. Absolutely.
I love it. And, Yolanda, one of the things I've noticed is, when we go out to these big global conferences, because you and I are constantly speaking in such conferences and panels, when we network, what we do is not network. We do hard work.
Yes.
That's what got us here. That's what we're doing today. That's the impact that we're manifesting around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
Really exciting stuff. So do not give up. Have a goal and attract it. Right, Yolanda? So when we met in Washington, D.C. on this leadership panel, what were we attracting? Our hearts and our minds were so in tune with our calling. We were so specific and we had enormous clarity at that moment, and magic happens.
Absolutely. What about you? What has been the challenge for you? I want to hear from you. Yes.
Yeah. So one thing is, as you know, Women Empower Global, we have a reach in over 23 countries, and our academy has been dynamically flowing, dynamically expanding. We've been running master classes and such to over 20 plus nationalities around the world. Phenomenal. A lot of hard work, but phenomenal results. my challenge has been, how can we humanize digitization even more? Because what I'm seeing is everybody is looking at online business, everybody's looking at innovating their business models to digitize and etc. But the question still remains, what is that measurement or yardstick we can use to really gauge to what extent we humanize and connect that experience, not just with customers, with anyone? And how could
Yeah.
we look at the customer as a human being? Because digital, there are the pros and the cons. So that has definitely been a challenge. I'm an advocate for humanizing digital, and I'm constantly speaking on Zoom and all these platforms, just like you, on our consultancy and that kind of thing. Another challenge has been for me what you said with what's happening. So many invitations to collaborate from around the world.
Yes.
So, Yolanda, the question is, how do we, like you said, that divine connection, how can we have that knowing to go for the right connections, the right partnerships, and nurture them? Because something from a principle standpoint that I'm very firm about is, it's not really about the number of connections and partnerships I get into in business, but it's more about the value, what I'm trying to create. What is the net contribution of that partnership? What is the net result that I can achieve that is larger than me, end of day?
Exactly.
So selecting those partnerships has been a little challenging, because so many coming up, especially with everything happening on this online model. Everybody's like excited. Another one for me, I'm going to tell you this. You might even laugh, I don't know. Recruitment, believe it or not. Recruitment has been challenging because so I've launched my second company as well, which is specializing in innovation coaching. But what I've understood is really looking at the kind of talent to grow them, because I'm the kind of person who recruits somebody for potential, based on potential, not past performance. But you go into corporate and you go into traditional recruitment, you're hardly ever looked at for potential. The rule of thumb is you look at the track record, you look at the resume, you look at past performance. But so I tend to, probably because of the whole coaching background, I'm always looking for potential. Sometimes I get my fingers burnt. So the idea here is recruitment has been challenging because I'm in the process of really handpicking and forming and building the right team with the blended model where I attract for potential, but also on past performance. That balance is so
important. That's so good. That is so good. And that is so needed. You have a lot of young professionals. Just like when I first started in my career, I needed somebody to believe in my potential. And I think leaders that have made it to a certain position need to take themselves back to remember that someone took a chance on them when they were just a potential, and for them to pay it forward. And I do believe you need a balance of it so that they can continue to learn from others. But I think we have to. That's how we all get started. And I think sometimes when we get to a certain level, we forget, like, you were once someone that was hired for your potential, not the skills that you already had. And I think if we continue to remind ourselves of that, we'll look really closely at those things. And I think we're going to see more and more of that, because I think because of COVID, people are going into different sectors because they have the kind of mindset where they can transfer skills really quickly into another sector. So we're going to be seeing people doing that as we transition out of COVID. Other companies have closed, they're going to be getting to other sectors, and they're going to be needing to be hired based on what the company feels like they can bring to the table, not what necessarily they may know from that sector. So I think you're spot on. You're spot on. And it is a challenge. But I think as you move forward, it's going to get easier to be able to bring those two together in a balance. Yes.
Love it. Experience is the teacher, right?
Absolutely.
You'd never know unless you try.
Exactly. So what are the goals that you're working on? What is one major goal that you're like, by the time you get to the second or third quarter, what is it you're wanting to see? And this could be personal or business. Yes.
I'm so happy you asked me this question because you know what, sis? I'm going to take a step back and look at this from a big picture screen. All right, you ready? You're going to come on that journey with me?
Come on, I'm ready.
You're on. So I'm thinking I've got the big 3 goals for my 2021. My big 3 goals. Goal number 1. I've thought about this, Yolanda. I've done a lot of thinking, all right? A lot of reflections on this. Commitment to self. I want to learn to increase the commitment to myself. And what I mean by that is self-care, self-love, more self-care routines, quiet time, hobbies. Try to love myself moments of more mindfulness, spiritual connection, spiritual alignment. The kind of things that satisfy the soul. So commitment to myself. So that's my power number 1, Yolanda. All right.
Yes. Yes.
My power number 2, and this is for myself. So my power number 2 is commitment to whom I love. Commitment to whom I love. Looking back, gosh, it's been like a train ride. I mean, I've been pivoting. I'm this, like this dynamic force. I'm like a train. Woof. We're moving rapidly. Last year, I pushed pause. We all did.
Yes.
And I had sort of like this awakening, looking at things in the perspective that, end of day, life is fragile. Simple is beautiful. How can I grow my courage to pay attention to things I love and things that matter most? So whom I love. So commitment to whom I love. So my little baby girl, she's 9+. Her name is Sorella.
Yes.
I want to spend more time with her. I'm thinking I need to, everything in my schedule, Yolanda, is diarized. If I want to go out, if I want to watch a movie, if I want to read a book, that's in my calendar. That's crazy, but that's how crazy my schedule has become. I'm already booked till April. My calendar. I've got events lined up till June. It's crazy, but I've understood I've increased my awareness that I need commitment to self, commitment to whom I love. Finally, my third big one, my power goal is this. How can I increase my commitment to what I love? So first is commitment to self. Second is commitment to whom I love. And finally, third is commitment to what I love. Yes. So about what I love, bringing it all in, I embarked on my new business, which is called Diverse Consultants. It's experts in innovation coaching. So I'm really, really excited about that initiative as well, and to see how I can weave this beautifully into the empowerment work I do as well, and also in my consultancy with corporates. Another one, it's really exciting, is that the work I do globally was picked up by one of my colleagues in US, and she launched an Amazon book, Tanya McNeil, called Women Going Global. And I'm so excited for that book. That was published in November, and the Amazon version came out this month. So, things like putting it out there. Do we have things on the vision board of what we love? Putting that out there to the universe, working hard towards that, having that intention, and allowing the universe to manifest that. So that book project was phenomenal, because looking at that, I was featured among the 13 women chosen around the world with a dedicated chapter. And I'm thinking, this little girl looking back, this little Sri Lankan girl, fast forward to where I am today, I would never have imagined that. So these
Yes.
simple things are big milestones in life.
Mm-hmm.
And another one is, I'm so excited, Yolanda, that you're involved with this one. This is another thing I
Yes.
love. So planning
Mm-hmm.
big events, and we are going to be launching a very big global summit for IWD. So that's
Yes.
something I really love too. And we're going to be, working closely on that one. I'm so excited and honored to have
Yes, I'm
you.
excited about that. It's going to be amazing. So those
Absolutely.
that watch this, those that watch us here, make sure you go and register and join us.
Yes. So Yolanda, drum
Absolutely.
roll, over to you. Tell me, I'm
Yes.
excited.
Yes. So for me, one of the things that I've been doing with my goals is I started probably in November looking at 2021. And one of the things that I have done is, instead of adding new things to my goal list, I said, where do I need to go deeper? And what I accomplished in 2020, which ones do I need to go a little deeper and a little wider? And so that has been with my consulting. I'm working on building a subscription model for coaching and a dashboard. And because I've been doing one-on-ones, I've been on doing online with women and men around the world for a long time before COVID even hit. So I was so comfortable, like, come on, keep doing what we're doing. I was helping companies onboard their staff. So I want to do more with helping also companies. One of my goals is to do more with helping companies that have transitioned their staff to remote. And how are you taking care of them? Because sometimes when you don't see them in an office, you forget that your human resources work that you do with your staff, human resources is taking care of people. And since you've taken them remote, how are you caring for them? How are you making sure that they have work-life balance? How are you checking in with them? It's not about just them giving you something back. Whatever you're asking them to do, that they're just feeding it back to you. How are you taking care of them outside? Because a lot is going on with them working from home, with their kids, with all of that comes with that. How are you really taking care of them? So I want to go a little deeper with companies with that. And then I'm launching a store within the company with inspirational products. And so I've been working. I said, if I'm going to be locked in, I'm going to come out with something after all of this. And so
Wow,
that's going to be launching probably the end of February, March, that will launch. And that's just to give a little inspiration to people. And the funds that come into that is going to be monies that I use for international humanitarian work. And so I'm so excited about, because I'm missing my travel to the continent of Africa. I'm ready to come to you, and I'm ready to go back to France. And so, but this is my way of really continuing to do some of the humanitarian work that I love to do by launching these products to be able to help me do that. So those are the things that I am focused on, and I'm so excited about them and looking forward to seeing the first quarter and the second quarter where we are with those things. So that's what I have.
So here's a big one to both of us.
Yes.
Yes, I love it. I love it. This is amazing. And to think, Yolanda, when this happened, our instinct was, okay, what can we do? How do we adapt? How can we become more resilient? How can we also be more empathetic? Because I love what you said about what you're doing with organizations, is coming out with programs to help them engage more remotely. I love that. That's absolutely needed, absolutely pivotal.
Absolutely. Exactly. Absolutely needed. Yes.
Love it, Yolanda. So, Yolanda, any last words? Because after our live here, you and I are going to have an offline connect. This is where we need business. You and I have so much to do after this live connect with the audience. Do you have any parting words for our audience today? Any love you want to tell them? Any thoughts?
Yes, I would say those that are watching now will watch later. I would just say to you, if you're feeling overwhelmed and feeling like you can't get it all done, take a step back and say, what can I accomplish today? It's not that you're going to forget those things that are on the list, but look at that and say, what can I accomplish today? And the great thing about that, if you don't accomplish it today, you roll it over to the next day and continue to work on it. So I would encourage you to speak what you seek till you see what you said. Seek what you speak until you see what you said. Speak it out. But just remember, when you're doing that, there are action steps that you have to take in order for it to be manifested. So I'm excited about what you're going to be accomplishing this year, and I know you can do it.
Wow, love it. Powerful stuff, Yolanda. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yolanda and I have this vibe. We keep vibing off each other. Now she said something that inspired another thought in me. To build on that, I'm thinking, you want to know the formula for success. A lot of the times we say it's planning, and then we say it's culture, we say skills, all these things, right? But I also want to remind you, you would have recalled that last year, none of those things mattered. They're important, but the number one thing in that moment, when everything collapses, is your mind. Your mind is the superpower.
Absolutely.
I want you to think about that as your formula for success. Because the planning, the strategy, the culture, the team, all of that is great. But when you are at the position of making the decision and influencing the changes in your business or your team, it's really about your mind. Because everything that flows, your planning, your strategy, your capacity is governed around what? Governed around your mind. So
That's
my
right.
prayer for you is that you will keep working on your mind, your engine, and also pumping the blood through your heart, because heart is where you're going to get the empathy as a leader, especially working with remote teams. You got to remember that. And just want to conclude finally by saying, remember, if you really want that transformation, if you want to manifest what you really believe in, learn to go there before you do. And what I mean is, you go there in your mind, in your thoughts, in your words, and it's going to manifest. All right?
Absolutely.
So
that's powerful. So good to talk with you and catch up.
Woo! And now Yolanda and I are going to leave you guys because we've got lots of work to do. Lots of love to all of you. Stay strong.
See you guys soon.
See you guys soon. Bye.